There are things we hold on to because they help us survive. And then there are things we keep holding long after they stopped helping. Hope can be both, and most of us have never been taught to tell the difference. There is a hope that carries you through the dark. The kind that says, things can be different, I can get through this. Something better is possible. That hope is real. That hope is necessary. That hope has kept many people from giving up entirely. This video is not about that hope. This video is about the other kind, the hope that starts as something that keeps you going and slowly becomes something that keeps you from seeing clearly. Hope after loss is real. The hope that says, I will feel like myself again. This grief will not always be this heavy. There is still something worth staying for. Hope after failure is real. The hope that makes you try again. After the thing you built didn't work the way you needed it to. Hope in the middle of something hard, when you don't know how it ends, but you keep going anyway. That is one of the most human things there is. And I want to be clear, nothing in this video is an argument against that, because hope, real hope, is not the problem. The problem begins somewhere quieter. In the moment, hope stops helping us move forward and starts helping us stay still. Maybe you've done this, not because you were naive, not because you couldn't see what was in front of you, but because what was in front of you was harder to accept than what you hoped was coming. Maybe it was a future you kept waiting for, a version of your life you were convinced was just around the corner, a version of yourself you believed would finally feel enough if you just got there, just became that, just fixed this one last thing. Maybe it was a relationship that kept promising to become what it had been at the beginning, a person you believed would eventually show up differently, a job you stayed in because you kept thinking it would get better, a family dynamic you kept trying to change because you couldn't accept it might always be this way. The content of the hope looked different each time, but underneath, the function was the same. If I keep hoping, I don't have to grieve. What this actually is, there is a particular kind of hope that is especially difficult to release. The hope that is not about what is, but about what could be. Who this person could become, what this relationship could feel like, what your life could look like if things finally went the way you imagined. And at some point, you stop relating to the reality and start relating to the possibility. You are no longer responding to who someone is. You are responding to who you hope they will become. You are no longer living your life as it actually is. You are living in the version you are still waiting for. And the gap between those two things, between what is and what you are hoping for, is where so much of yourself quietly gets lost, because you cannot fully live in a life you are waiting to begin. Here is what I think is the hardest part to sit with. Hope doesn't become dangerous because it's wrong. Hope becomes dangerous when it replaces honesty, when the hoping is no longer about possibility, but about distance. Distance from something you already know, but are not ready to name. That this is not going to change in the way you need it to. That you have been waiting for something that has given you every reason to stop waiting. That the version of this you have been holding on to exists more clearly in your hope than it does in your life. And maybe the hope has become the reason. You don't have to say that yet. Because as long as you are still hoping, you don't have to grieve. You don't have to decide. You don't have to face the distance between what you wanted this to be and what it actually is. Hope became the escape from the very honesty that could have set you free. There is a cost to waiting for something that isn't coming. Not just in time, though time is real, and the years you spend dear, hoping something will change, are years you spend not building something new. But there is something else that gets lost, something quieter than time. Your trust in yourself, because after a while, the hardest thing to trust is no longer the other person. It is yourself, because you have spent so long arguing with what you already knew, explaining it away, making it smaller, finding reasons why what you felt wasn't quite right. And slowly, you stopped trusting your own clarity. You stopped believing that what you sensed was worth listening to. You started needing proof for things you already knew, and that the slow erosion of your own intuition is perhaps the quietest cost of hope held too long. Not just the time, not just the energy, but the relationship with your own knowing. I am not going to tell you to stop hoping, because hope, the right kind, is still one of the most important things a person can hold. But I want to leave you with a question worth sitting with. Is the hope you are carrying right now helping you move forward, or is it helping you stay where you are? Because there is a difference between hope that says something better is possible and I am going to move toward it, and hope that says, if I wait long enough, I won't have to face what I already know. Sometimes healing doesn't begin when hope disappears. It begins when honesty finally becomes louder, not louder than everything, just louder than the fear of what you might have to feel. If you let yourself see clearly, you are allowed to hope, and you are allowed to be honest. Those two things are not opposites, but one of them has been quieter than it should be for a long time.